Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for August 2024. We're going to break down each life path number and take a look at what this month could hold in store for you. This, of course, is a general forecast. If you would like your own personalized numerology reading or forecast, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're on my YouTube channel, please go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you know when I drop a video. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what August has in store. Life path number 8. So August, you're going to be working with the energy of the 15-6. So 6 energy is the vibration of love, truth, honesty. When we have the vibration of the 15 in conjunction with the 6, this brings in the vibration of unconditional love. So expectations, conditions, control, and some things that we may need to recognize about our relationships or how we show up to relationships, where we may have sort of unnecessary expectations of ourselves or of the other person. We may have conditions for love, conditions for friendship, etc. So I'll love you if you sort of meet my expectations. I will be friends with you, or I will do this for you if you meet my expectations. So there's a lot of conditions, heavy conditions that we may put on other people or relationships that can sort of create this wedge between those connections that can create sort of this resentment in both parties. So when we have the 15 and the 6 together, this energy is saying, take a closer look at where it is that your relationships or how you show up to your relationships may be lacking in true unconditional love, honesty, and truth. Where is it that you might not be fully honest with yourself about what you need, how you feel about something, the direction you want to be moving in, and sharing that honesty with others? Are you communicating your needs to others? Are you sharing your desires, your hopes and dreams with others? Or are you expecting them to just know? Are you expecting them to sort of read your mind? Because if you are, you will be disappointed, right? Nobody is capable, no matter what they say, of reading someone else's mind, of being able to show up exactly as we expect someone else to show up. Even if we communicate it, right? The other person is on their own journey and is never going to fully be able, without sacrificing themselves, to be able to show up in the way that we want them to. And when we have this 15-6 energy, in a cycle, it brings to the forefront those relationships or those connections. And it can be business relationships, it can be friends, colleagues, romantic partnerships, children, whatever the case may be. It brings it to the forefront where we need to take a closer look at where our conditions, our expectations, our lack of sort of truth and honesty with ourselves and with the other person is creating an unnecessary divide, is creating unnecessary resentment, where it is that our expectations are sort of self-sabotaging in a way, or sabotaging that connection in a way, because there's no way that that person, in a healthy way, can show up in the way that we are requiring or expecting them to show up. So it can be an intense cycle to move through, because it really does force us to look at where we need to make some changes, where we need to adjust our, again, expectations and our conditions, and where we need to do a better job of meeting people where they are at on their journey, just as we would want them to meet us where we're at on ours. We're not meant to change the other person. We're not meant to change for the other person. Instead, we're meant to show up exactly as we are in this moment as we continue on our journey of self-discovery and evolution, and, be happy with who we are in this moment, while also being happy with who the other person is in this moment as well. And that takes a lot, right? The 6 vibration is a really hard energy to move through. And it's hard to step into because it is that vibration of unconditional love, meeting others where they're at, accepting others where they're at, and sort of moving from that space, while also having high enough standards for ourselves and values for ourselves to where we won't accept someone showing up in a way that does not meet us where we are at on our journey. So in other words, if we have very conditional relationships, if we have relationships where the other person is putting expectations on us, or if we are putting expectations on ourselves that we're not capable in this moment to achieve, to meet, that we recognize that, we have that conversation, and we release if we need to release, right? We release that connection if we need to release it. And that can be done in a very kind and generous way. It doesn't have to be done with vindictiveness and hatred and anger and all the things. So this cycle can really ask us to do some greater self-discovery, to do some greater contemplation, to see where is it that my expectations and my conditions on myself or on others is creating more drama, more separation, more conflict, more challenges than need to be there, right? So it could be an interesting opportunity to, again, explore that side of yourself and to explore your relationships with others to see where is it that I keep showing up and engaging in a connection where their expectation of me is so high that in this moment, I'm not able to constantly meet that expectation without sacrificing a part of who I am or sacrificing my own needs. And the 6 vibration is not about sacrificing. It's about compromise and love, truth, and honesty, right? To show up in a way where, again, we're meeting others where they're at and having the standard where we sort of require others to meet us where we are at in this moment and to have grace for that and acceptance. So again, without sacrificing. So what you could see come in, because this is sort of like I don't want to say the war between the two, but it's sort of like this sort of push and pull between conditional love and unconditional love, and where it is that we keep showing up to conditional love or conditional relationships, again, with any form of relating, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, etc., romantic relationships, etc., and where it is that we can do some work to get more in the vibration of truth, honesty, and unconditional love. And it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight, but it can certainly push us to evaluate how we are showing up to connections and how we are engaging in our connections and how we're choosing to participate, because we always have the choice in how we will participate. When it comes to family, loved ones, especially because the 6 can bring the sort of focus on the home and that home environment and relationships, you may see that this month sort of brings an awakening or an aha moment about how you can show up differently. And that doesn't mean that, again, you're not changing who you are to accommodate others or to make others comfortable. You're certainly not sacrificing yourself. You are sort of evaluating those connections and how you may need to speak up for yourself more. You may need to have higher standards. You might need to sort of learn to say no more quickly. And when you do say yes, it's because it's coming from a place of generosity and the gratitude for the ability to be able to say yes, and not coming from a place of obligation, which could lead to resentment. So there's a lot that's sort of coming to the surface here. Anytime we move through a 6 cycle, it will bring to the surface those more difficult conversations, those areas where something is missing, something is lacking, something is sort of created this wedge or this division that needs to be addressed, that can't be swept under the carpet. And sometimes that just means taking a better look at ourselves to make sure that we're showing up in truth, love, and honesty without this laundry list of expectations and conditions for the other person to meet, which is unrealistic and only creates greater separation and divide. I would also say this might be a time where, again, you sort of are pushed to raise your standards. What is it that you're saying yes to that you don't want to say yes to? What is it that you're accepting that you no longer need to be accepting? How is it that you're, again, participating because you feel expected to participate that way or obligated to participate that way? Where is it that you can make a shift? And remember that you're at the helm of your ship. So if you choose to participate in a way that feels better for you and more aligned for you and healthier for you, then that's where you're going to see the greatest rewards. And you hold the power to make that shift. So interesting energies here. Now, I will say also you're working with fox energy. And the fox, if you think about the fox, if you've ever seen a fox in the wild or if you've watched videos with fox, this is a very just a very relaxed, sort of go with the flow type of energy. The fox never seems bothered. It's a very unbothered type of energy. So they're not bothered by others' expectations or their judgments or their requirements. They sort of do their own thing. They're very present in their own experience. They're showing up in the best way that they know how in this moment while continuing to sort of find new ways to hunt or whatever they're sort of doing. But there's always this sort of relaxed spirit about them. There's always this sort of jovialness, this playfulness, this curiosity. Even when they're hunting, they don't take it so serious. Like if you think about maybe the wolf as opposed to the fox, well, that's not a good example. If you think about the panther as opposed to the fox, the panther has this seriousness to it, this strong presence, where the fox is much more laid back and jovial. It goes with the flow. It faces the obstacles as they come. It doesn't have these great expectations. It's just, hey, I wonder what I'll find today. And it goes on this exploration to find it. It's just a lighter energy. And so I do feel like with this sort of push-pull of the 15 and the 6, unconditional, and expectations with truth, honesty, and love, I think you're kind of being pushed to not take things so serious, but to also sort of stand your ground, speak up for yourself, have those higher standards, and to do that all with kindness, love, and a sense of adventure and fun. So yeah, beautiful energy, 8s. And yeah, I hope it's a great month. All right, take care. Bye for now.